So on the color assignment, it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. You're going to have 3 pages that just have random shapes on here. And I'm going to ask you to create a composition in some of the color harmonies we talked about. On the first one, it's going to be analogous. Those are colors that are neighbors on the color wheel. On the second one, you're going to want to do a split complementary. The last one is up to you. This is designer's choice. I want you to choose one of the 4 seasons, fall, winter, spring, or summer. I want you to show me what colors you associate with that. So we're in the middle of winter now. I don't know if you want to memorialize that. If you want to look ahead to spring and summer, you could do that as well. So either I was just going to say, you can find the AI Illustrator file. It's under the module for week 3, or it's under assignments. Although while I was talking, I just got a pop-up from Canvas saying they are experiencing an outage right now. So we'll check back when I'm done with the demo here. But so 3 pages. I'm going to go to Illustrator. Let me close this out. So here's what it looks like. I'm going to reset everything here to get everything out of my hair. So 3 identical. And don't leave these the same. I want you to move stuff around and create your own compositions. But what I would do first is come up with the colors. So for this, you're going to want to open the color guide. And the way this works, choose any shape to start here. And you choose whatever color you want to start with. All right, so let's say I decide I'm going to choose kind of a forest green color here. This is going to be analogous. So that means the neighbors on the color wheel. So if I come up here with the color guide, and you have to scroll up for a lot of these, here's analogous. So it's got my main color, and then it's showing me the neighbors on either side. So the neighbors going one way from the screen are going to be more bluish, like a teal color. You see that up there. And if I go the other way, it's going to be more like a kind of yellow-green up here. So what you can do this one of 2 ways. You can select shapes and just give them the colors here. Let's do a teal color there. You'll also notice for each of these colors, you've got tints and you've got shades. So you can come in here. I'm going to make the background light. Maybe make this a darker blue. You can also drag these colors in. So if I drag this down here, can't really see it. There you see things are the same value. So if I make it a little darker, and you'll notice my colors are all kind of very gray. That's because I started with a kind of dull green color. So what happens if I go a little brighter on this? Now you can see my colors changed a little bit on here. So again, you can just drag these in here. Or you can select the shape and do this. Make sure you use the shades and the tints on here as well. So I tried to give you a lot of everything here. What you'll notice though, some of these they're grouped together. If you just try and drag a color in here, you'll only get one shape. So you need to select these and then select the color you want to use it for. And once you've done that, so I've got lines and dots and everything on here. Let's go dark with that one. What I want you to do, that just disappeared, so let's go a little darker. You can create your own composition. If you can make these bigger or smaller, but if you do it, make sure you hold that shift key down so that you're not distorting the shapes. So it's up to you. You can move things around. You can make them bigger or smaller. They can touch the edge of the page. You can also move them in front or behind each other. And the way you do that is up here under the object drop-down menu. If you do arrange, so I've got this big kind of starburst shape. I'm going to send it all the way to the back. What happened? It actually went behind this background color. So what you can do is bring it forward one step at a time if you come up here under object. And if you bring forward one layer at a time, now it's still behind everything. So you can go and create your own composition with this however you want. But I want to see that you've kind of moved things around. I also want to make sure you haven't distorted anything in here. So don't, with something like this, don't do that. All right? And I realize it's all kind of abstract. That's fine. The other thing you can experiment with here is, we did this on the shapes. You can come up here and adjust the opacity on here so that we can see things between each other, between different shapes here. You'll see how the colors change on it. So there I went very light with it. So up to you to create your own abstract composition. Make sure everything gets a color in here. I kind of lost my little triangles down here. Let's see if I can select them. There they are. Maybe these I'm going to bring up to the front. So I'm going to do arrange, bring to front. So the first one is analogous color. You're going to do the same thing on this one. I would start with a color. I'm going to use the color picker, double click on it. I did green on the first one, so maybe I'll go with a really deep red here. Make sure you change your color harmony. This is still the analogous, so you can see it's going to magenta and orange up here. Coming down here to the drop-down menu, and now again, you have to scroll up for this, but here's the split complement. So for this red color, the complement would be green. And what I've got instead is each neighbor on either side of green. If I go one way, it goes a little bit more bluish, like teal. If I come over here, it goes a little bit more green. You have tints and shades back here that you can use. Maybe on this one, I'll do a really dark background. Can do that as well. So once you have selected colors for this, and you can change them as you go. Then it's up to you to create whatever composition you think looks good. Maybe I'll send this one backward. I'll show you a really great keyboard shortcut. And this is something you should be on the lookout for. It saves you a huge amount of time. And what that is when I go up here and do arrange, see over here these key commands over here? You can go forward and backwards using the keys on your computer. If you do the command key and the back bracket, it will bring things forward. If you do the command key and the forward bracket, it will send them backwards. So if I want to send this back one step at a time, I'm just holding the command key down and it is slowly going behind all the different shapes in here. So you're going to do the same thing, do a split complementary on here. You can also play with opacity on here, just like the shape tool. And that will give you even a wider range of color. It may make your colors go dull because you're mixing colors together. But again, create your own unique composition on here and make sure you've colored everything on here. So I hear the yawning. I'm almost done. So I'm using the command and bracket keys. I can bring it all the way up. I can send it back one step at a time. All right, so finish the second one. This last one is going to be up to you. For this one, I'm going to close the color guide here and put it back away. For this one, I want you to choose one of the 4 seasons and show me your interpretation of it. So for this, you're going to want to open the swatches. And again, this is a jumping off point. Come down here to the swatch library, come up here to nature, and what I would do is start with the seasons. All right? Do you have to use these colors? No. But again, as your first step, not a bad idea. I've got a bunch of bright colors that bring to mind spring, kind of pastels. I've got some even more vibrant colors that look a little more summery. Here's some great earth tones for fall, some cooler colors for winter. And again, you can change these. If I start, say I'm doing winter, I'm going to start, let's start with this here. Actually, I'm going to start with their suggestions. And I'm just dragging the colors in here. Or I select this. And again, I'm just using this as a jumping off point. And as you start designing with things, again, I want you to move stuff around, create your own composition. This is you telling me what your interpretation of one of the seasons are. And I also am looking to see how you handle these shapes. Do you create a really interesting composition with them? Does it look kind of boring? Again, with these, you can play with the opacity and have kind of a ghosted image of things. So it's going to be entirely up to you. That color's really dark. Maybe I either use the opacity to bring it down, or maybe if I just decide I don't like that color, I'm going to choose something that says winter to me. All right, does anyone have any questions on this? When you are done, you're going to save it as a PDF. Again, save as. I'm just going to put it on my desktop for now. Again, save it with your last name, and this is assignment 4. And make sure you save it in the EPA or the PDF format on here. That's how we turn everything in here. And you can upload it to Canvas. And you should have a 3-page PDF up here. Anyone have any questions?